Murray Sheldon is unique. His voice is quite strong here in the United States and around the world because he brings with him the expertise not only of a heart surgeon, but also as somebody who has started a company and somebody who advises policy leaders at the most senior levels in the Food and Drug Administration, the center of so much innovation, science, and regulatory policy. Dr. Sheldon has been a longtime friend of AAKP and patients throughout the world and here in the US. His voice is strong because it's based on idealism and principle, and the principle being this, that no patient should have to suffer while governments or industry try to work out the minutiae of regulatory policy. He has a sense of urgency and a sense of fairness, and he's dedicated to safely bringing new products and innovations into the space for patients who are suffering to make certain that we have the solutions that we need to live and to pursue our aspirations. Again, it's a great honor to have Dr. Sheldon with us. We appreciate his time. Dr. Sheldon?
Hello, I'm Dr. Murray Sheldon. I'm very, very pleased and honored that AAKP has allowed me to participate in this really wonderful educational seminar, webinar, to talk about patient involvement with international cooperation to create an implantable artificial kidney. Just to give you a little background as to who I am, for many years I practiced cardiac surgery in California and eventually began developing medical devices. And I did that locally in California and then around the world, mostly in Europe for about 10 years, and was eventually recruited to join the FDA in 2012. So I've been at the FDA for nearly 10 years now, and I'm the Associate Director for Technology and Innovation. And one of my primary jobs is to identify areas that have lack of innovation, identify the root causes of that, and try to fix it, and basically cut down barriers to innovation so that we can continue to improve medical devices for patients with all sorts of illnesses. And in one particular area, that of kidney disease, especially end-stage kidney disease, we've had a huge lack of innovation for maybe 60, 70 years. So that's been a focus of my work for the last 5 years. And I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about some of the things that we're working on to improve the ability to create products for patients with end-stage kidney disease. Why are we focusing on treatment for end-stage kidney disease? By the way, this slide's a little bit old. It has ESRD, that's end-stage renal disease. There's been a movement to change the word renal to kidney. That means the same thing, but it's a little bit more understandable, kidney disease. So why are we focused on that? Well, first of all, most people understand that people with end-stage kidney disease have a very poor quality of life and limited life expectancy. As a matter of fact, when you look at 5-year mortality for people with end-stage kidney disease on a variety of treatments, and I've put an arrow by hemodialysis, and the next red line is peritoneal dialysis, and you get better mortality with kidney transplants. But when you compare it to multiple cancers in blue, nearly every cancer except for lung cancer and GI cancers are worse than kidney disease. So essentially, your life expectancy with end-stage kidney disease is that of a very, very bad cancer. And it's very expensive. It's a very, very high cost to CMS. And as you notice in the slide below, it's not flat, it's rising. As a matter of fact, CMS is now spending in the United States about 8% of their budget on people's treatment with end-stage kidney disease. But the real reason for why are the people that are living with it. And the two photos, the one of the gentleman sitting on the river is Bill Peckham. And Bill Peckham is pretty famous because he has had kidney disease for most of his life, and he did not let it stop him. And it's very difficult, but he dialyzes himself, and he's there on a river raft floating down the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon. Now, that's pretty amazing. Unfortunately, the best dialyzer in the world passed away last year. So even if you're good at dialysis, your life expectancy is a problem. And the young boy next to him is a friend, Caleb, who I met several years ago. Caleb was also born with kidney disease. He was fortunate enough to have kidney transplants. He's in fact had 2 kidney transplants, and he's rejected both of them. And he now has sufficient number of antibodies that he will never be able to get another kidney transplant. So he started on dialysis, and he went through vascular access on one arm, then vascular access on another. And in this picture is when I last met him a few years ago. He was in Washington going to the operating room to get his first vascular access in one of his legs. So he's 16 years old in this picture now, and your heart goes out to him. And that's why I want to focus on end-stage renal disease for Caleb and for Bill Peckham and for all the people who are suffering with this very, very deadly condition that has had very poor innovation over the years. And I think patients are really at the heart of what we do. And when you ask patients, and this is a survey that was conducted a few years ago about what aspects of kidney disease they would like to see developed, there's a number of things that were popped up, of course: improved vascular access, improved transplantation. But the number one list at the top, 72%, a next generation renal replacement therapy, such as a wearable or artificial implantable kidney. And it's been my philosophy primarily to listen to patients and to understand what they need and to work with patients, because they're the heart of what we do. It's not about the devices, and it's not about what we do at FDA. It's about the patients, the people with the disease. And it's reality that partnerships are critical. But partnerships in this case needs to be more extensive than what we've ever had before. And it includes collaboration with governments, international governments, and everybody must work together. But patient leadership is absolutely critical in making innovation in this area happen. And I'm just so thrilled that AAKP has really led the way with other patient organizations to really provide the leadership that's needed to influence new innovation for people with end-stage kidney disease. This is a article that was written by 3 different patients in 3 different areas: the US, the Netherlands, and in Denmark. You can see the authors, and you can see what they have said, that the need for innovation in dialysis is long overdue. And there's no doubt that mainstay therapy for kidney failure, dialysis, has a negative impact on quality of life. And we don't want that to happen to our patients. And the time for complacency is over. And patients are demanding, and we need to be responsive to help create new approaches, innovative approaches, to help these people like Caleb, like Bill Peckham. And if the patient communities lead, the rest of the communities will follow. This is a press release that was put out by the Kidney Health Initiative, which is a public-private partnership between the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the American Society for Nephrology. And we were recently, in 2019, given a grant to develop an initiative to understand patient preferences for novel kidney devices and to use that information in how we work. These papers have recently been published last month in April 2021 in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology. And there are a group of 5 papers with an overview of the science of the components of patient input and how to develop valid scientific information from these surveys so that we can utilize the information. And we brought multiple groups together, including the AAKP, as you can see, and we've utilized our colleagues at MIT that have incorporated Bayesian decision analysis to help understand the data. The folks at FDA who review innovative renal products and patient engagement were also involved, as well as the Kidney Health Initiative, to give an idea as to how we can best capture the patient information on a routine basis and then utilize that in how we move forward and create better innovation. So how do we get this done? I told you that I've developed medical products in the past, and I'm not a seer. I can't predict the future, but based on my knowledge and what I've done in the past, I believe that the development of an implantable artificial kidney is unlikely to follow the pattern of general medical device development. And that's because it's much more complicated than anything we've done before. It will likely be eventually a hybrid, a product that will require some sorts of kidney cells and biologics, and that will make it very complex. And the various technologies are extremely great, and risks for companies are enormous. And this is why we need to put all hands on deck, not just in the US. It's not a problem for our country alone. It's a worldwide problem, and it's growing in other areas of the country. So we get this done. That's the main question. How do we make this happen? And this slide just puts out the notion through the International Society of Nephrology that as we look to the future, what happens if we don't do it? We're looking at the leading causes of death in 2016, and you can see that chronic kidney disease is down at number 16. They anticipate that by 2040, it's going to jump up to number 5. And the reason for this is emerging economies. As countries develop and as their economies improve and they change their lifestyles, diabetes and hypertension, high blood pressure becomes more prevalent within societies. And those are the leading causes of kidney disease, which results in end-stage renal disease, end-stage kidney disease that requires a treatment that for right now, we only have hemodialysis or kidney transplantation. And it's estimated that by 2030, by 10 years, 14.5 million people will have that problem, yet only a third will be able to be treated due to economic, social, and political factors. In addition, more than 2 million people will die each year with no access at all to hemodialysis or kidney transplantation. So that's the challenge if we continue on our current course. So we were very fortunate when President Trump was in office in 2019 that he put out an executive order on the Advancing American Kidney Health. And Section 6 describes encouraging the development of an artificial kidney. And how are we going to do that? By the government. Section A talks about that the FDA, the group that I work with, will put out information that we are requesting pre-market approvals for wearable or implantable artificial kidneys and encourage their development and submission to the Food and Drug Administration for clinical testing, and also to provide a strategy which we've created in the Kidney Innovation Accelerator, so-called Kidney X, to fund new research and new development. The Kidney X is a new public-private partnership between the American Society of Nephrology and the Department of Health and Human Services. And we have run multiple Kidney X Prize competitions that have really yielded great benefits to date. Essentially, this is, I'm going to describe my vision for the development of an artificial kidney through an international consortium that could be provided to people around the world free as a worldwide humanitarian effort for peace. And to do so, to bring in all the countries of the world, everybody should contribute what they have. Some nations will contribute scientific and bioengineering expertise or manufacturing expertise. Some nations who don't have some of that will contribute financial support. And it's all for Caleb and Bill Peckham. That's the reason for it. And we should develop multiple advanced manufacturing centers throughout the world capable of developing these products and then distributed to people in all of the countries that have participated in the development through an independent organization such as the World Health Organization or others. And we have examples on how this international cooperation can work. The International Space Station is one with over 15 countries working together with multiple launch sites, which would be like our manufacturing sites around the world, and multiple organizations, all sharing their knowledge, their expertise, and their money to develop something for benefit of mankind that everybody worldwide can take advantage of and use. And we're already going down the road. What do we have already? Well, through the Kidney Health Initiative, we've developed a roadmap of how to go from here to there, and we use it as a catalyst for change. I mentioned Kidney X, which is to fund development through a series of prize competitions. But essentially, patient participation is the key driving factor, and built on two of the Kidney X principles, that it be patient-driven and collaborative. And that's what is guiding how we're doing this. And so far, we're on course to really make a major impact in innovation in this area. So what has been done so far? We've had development of portable artificial kidneys to allow people to travel. We've developed a new home hemodialysis device that enables people to get out of the clinics and to live more comfortably at home. There have been wearable artificial kidneys that's been developed by several groups around the world with the help of our Kidney X funds, as well as others, that enable people to dance and to travel and to wear all day long. A group in San Francisco and in other areas are already developing a fully implantable bioengineered kidney that you can see an example of there. And it's been tested in animals for up to 60 days and being very successful. There's been other approaches to take different animals' kidney scaffolds. This, you're seeing a pig that was decellularized. All the pig cells was removed, but the scaffold was remained and reinfused with human stem kidney cells to produce a potentially transplantable human kidney. And there are groups around the world that have actually developed vascularized kidney organoids. Now, what this is, and you can see the picture, it looks pretty much like our normal human kidney, but it's just a very small cell, and then we need to develop them and to put them together and then get them into a bioreactor that can be implanted into people and do the work of a normal kidney. So with all of these advances, we think that there are real opportunities to really change the approach to people with end-stage kidney disease. And patients have already been driving this collaboration, and we need to increase this. This is a little list of what AAKP has done. They were, of course, a founding member of the Kidney Health Initiative back in 2012. And in 2019, they launched a program called the Decade of the Kidney and had an inaugural global summit on kidney disease that was looked at by over 20,000 people, live streamed in 50 countries around the world. Multiple partnerships have been developed through AAKP, and they launched in 2020 a first international patient collaborative with United Kingdom-based kidney patient group called the Renal Patient Support Group. And they proposed in 2020 the International Consortium for Artificial Kidney at the second annual summit, which was live streamed to even more countries. And this year, they are now working with the European Kidney Patient Federation and European Kidney Health Alliance to expand this further through Europe. And that's exactly the type of collaboration that we really, really need across, we call the pond, the Atlantic Ocean, but it needs to go much beyond that. The European Union has taken this up with full speed ahead, and they have declared their own decade of the kidney in Europe with the EKHA as joining and linking up with the AAKP's approach for the launching the Decade of the Kidney project. And this kind of shows a similar type of roadmap over the years as to how this development may occur from following the roadmaps that we've developed from initial production of different components to new kidney therapies, extending home dialysis, developing an implantable kidney with the ultimate goal of actually regenerating a full human kidney and really curing this problem. And this international cooperation is just getting started. And in March of this year, just a few months ago, the US and the EU have put out an announcement that has preceded this particular summit to let the world know that they are joining hands to really stimulate innovation for development of new products for people with end-stage kidney disease. The patients don't just stop at helping that. In a survey, patients were asked if they would share their data to help researchers and other companies develop new products and new treatments, and 93% said yes. And that's just amazing how much patients are willing to be helpful and to work together as a key component. And this is why AAKP has done such a great job at making this possible. And so I'd just like to end this talk with an old African proverb that you can see: if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go together. And we want to go far, and we want to be disruptive of the current treatment that we have right now, which is essentially dialysis, which, as we mentioned earlier on, yields a poor quality of life and a very shortened life expectancy. And we don't just want to build a better dialysis machine. When Henry Ford was asked what does his customers want, he would say, well, they want a faster horse. No, we want something totally different, something that really can enable people to live a normal quality of life. And so we need to go together worldwide. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the AAKP for the opportunity of presenting this information to all the listeners, and for working with the patients to make this potential dream and this vision a reality, so that we can reinvigorate innovation in the area of end-stage kidney disease for Caleb, for Bill Peckham, and for all the people worldwide who will need these new innovative products to lead a normal life. AAKP, thank you. Listeners, thank you. I hope that we can work together in the future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sheldon, for taking time out of your schedule and that of the FDA. We know you're quite busy, and we always appreciate you joining the Global Summit.